Imagine this. You sit down for lunch, open your lunchbox, and find nothing but pizza. Pepperoni, cheese, sauce, crust. Pizza, pizza, and more pizza. Now imagine eating nothing else for 35 years straight. Every single day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, just pizza. Believe it or not, one man actually did this and lived to tell the tale. Welcome to Believe It or Not, the show where weird is real and the truth is stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Bryan. Today, we're taking a bite into the unbelievable story of Dan Janssen, the man who has survived on pizza alone for more than 3 decades. Meet Dan Janssen, a man from Maryland whose diet is simple. Pizza. And only pizza. He's been doing it for decades, and he's not sick of it yet. You see, Dan's not your average pizza lover. He's a vegetarian, so his go-to slice is a classic cheese pizza, sometimes with mushrooms. He doesn't eat meat, vegetables, or even fruit. Just pizza. And not fancy kinds either. We're talking about the regular kind you find at your local pizza shop. Golden crust, bubbling cheese, hot from the oven. That's his breakfast, his lunch, his dinner, and sometimes even his dessert. When people ask if he ever gets tired of it, Dan just laughs and says, "Never. Pizza's my friend." Imagine eating the same food for so long that you don't even want to try anything else. Starting in the late 1980s, Dan decided that pizza was simply the best food. So why eat anything else? When Dan was a kid, he was what you might call a super picky eater. Psychologists even have a term for this. It's called selective eating disorder, a condition where people have intense aversions to certain foods. Now you might say, I love pizza too, but why is Dan so obsessed with it? Well, most foods made him feel sick. The smell, the texture, he just couldn't handle it. But pizza? To Dan, pizza smelled good. It tasted amazing. And best of all, it never let him down. So he stuck with it. One slice became 2, 2 became 3, and before long, pizza was the only thing he'd eat. Doctors were shocked. Pizza, while tasty, isn't exactly a balanced diet. But Dan made it work. He rotated toppings, making sure he included some vegetables and protein on his pies, and carefully monitored his health. Over the years, he managed to stay surprisingly healthy. Normal weight, active lifestyle, and no major health issues reported. Even though it sounds unbelievable, Dan says pizza makes him happy, and he has no plans to stop eating it anytime soon. In fact, he even got engaged to a woman who doesn't mind his pizza obsession. Though she does admit it's a little strange. Dan's pizza diet gained so much attention that nutritionists have studied his story. And while they don't recommend eating only one type of food, Dan's case shows how humans can sometimes adapt to extreme diets, even one as cheesy and carb-heavy as pizza. He's become a minor celebrity in his town, with friends jokingly asking him to bring pizza to every party. And while most people can't imagine surviving like this, Dan says, "Pizza makes life simple. And I've never been happier." Now, here are a few fun facts about pizza. The average American eats about 23 pounds of pizza per year. But Dan has eaten thousands of pounds over his lifetime. Believe it or not, scientists estimate that the average American eats around 40 slices of pizza every year. But Dan Janssen, he's eaten more than 30,000 slices in his lifetime. So Dan is a very big factor in the about 3 billion pizzas Americans eat every year. That's over 350 slices every second. Number 2, pizza wasn't always topped with cheese. Early versions were just flatbread with herbs and olive oil. Number 3, there are competitive eating contests where participants eat dozens of slices in one sitting. But Dan's consistency over decades is far more impressive. And finally, number 4, scientists studying Dan's diet are fascinated by how his body has adapted to such a narrow range of nutrients. Now it's your turn to think about the story. Imagine living your life eating only one food every single day. Do you think you could survive on only pizza? Or would you go crazy? Also, what makes some foods more nutritious than others? And finally, how do you balance enjoying your favorite foods while staying healthy? For me, if I had to choose one food to eat for the rest of my life, it would definitely be sandwiches. While I love pizza, sandwiches are by far my favorite, especially peanut butter and jelly. That's it for today's episode of Believe It or Not. Dan Janssen proves that sometimes humans can survive on the most unusual diets, even pizza alone, for decades. And before we go, here's a little pizza joke for you. Why did the pizza apply for a job? Because it wanted a little dough. Next time on episode 92, we'll meet Helena Yannick, a mother of 8 sons, all of whom served in World War II. And they all came back alive. How did she do it? You won't want to miss this incredible story of luck, courage, and family. Until then, keep wondering, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the truth is weirder than fiction.